Hiking 50 miles in Scotland's largest forest. Occupying an unbelievable 200,000 acres, the Galloway Forest Park is 3 times larger than any other forest in Scotland.
It just shows you the size of the forest.
The area is home to sprawling mountains, lots of trees, and a rich ecosystem full of diverse wildlife. I'd be spending 3 days exploring the landscapes and carrying my home with me. I'd pass by plenty of mountain bothies
Wish me luck.
and pick some pretty good camping spots along the trail. The skies were blue and the birds were singing. It was the perfect time to get out on another adventure. The sounds of nature echoed around the forest. The place was bursting with life. I made my way over a small bridge, making sure to take in the views before heading on. The environment was peaceful, and I instantly felt at home. A short stretch of road walking led me upwards. The trail had officially begun.
I've just set off from somewhere called Forest Drive Car Park, and I've got 50 miles ahead of me. I'm so excited. I'm in the Galloway Forest Park, which is Scotland's largest forest, which is an area that I haven't done too much exploring. The weather looks pretty good right now, and hopefully it's going to stay this way. My first obstacle is a mountain right in front of me. I think it's about 750 metres tall. So yeah, quite a lot of elevation to start off the trail. Feels really good to be out though. Such fresh air out here. There's no one about. Yeah, I'm really excited for this one.
I made my way off the road and was immediately met with tougher terrain.
Oh man, hasn't taken long for the bog to get to me, but you can probably see, I think the mountain is just behind this one up here, so it doesn't actually look too far, but I need to make my way through this first. That does not look fun. Step on these bushes, hopefully that keeps me out of the bog. I think I've pretty much accepted that I'm going to get wet feet regardless. We're literally about half a kilometre in and my feet are soaking. But well, I'm sure they'll dry off. It's absolutely roasting.
The path was tough to make out, so I decided to just trudge through the bog as long as I was heading upwards.
Oh, this is absolutely glorious. It must be like 16, 17 degrees right now, and there's not much wind, so it's absolutely roasting. You can probably see down to, I think that's Carrick Forest down there, that's where I started. The views are starting to open up already. A little bit hazy on the horizon, but I'm hoping that clears as the day goes on. Still got a decent amount to climb though, so I'm going to crack on with that. Actually got a decent path to follow now as well, and I think you might be able to make out, I think I can see a cairn at the top of that hill. I think that might be my first mountain of the day. Not too far now. There's quite a lot of elevation today, actually the most of the 3 days I plan to do this trail in. I think it's about 1,500 metres, which is quite a lot, especially in this heat. Once I get on top of this first mountain, I then follow a ridge which goes over like 2 or 3 more. So hopefully should get some good views up there.
I continued to gain elevation, and the views behind me got better the higher I got.
That was absolutely insane. Oh my god, I got the fright of my life though. But one of the jets was just over there and another one was over there. I was sandwiched in between them, and one of them did a sort of like barrel roll. That was literally so cool. I think there must be like a base near here. Either that or they just come here to do training. because it's quite remote and there's not many people about. But that was, every time I come here, I feel like I've seen at least a few jets. Hopefully I'll see them again today, but that was so cool. Seems like a decent drop down before I head up to the first mountain, just up there. Maybe about 100 meters or so. Not too bad. What do you reckon are the odds that one of the jets has landed at the top and it can just fly me to my camp spot? I guess probably likely.
The descent was easy on the sloping terrain, and one short ascent later, the summit cairn came into view.
Yes, I have reached the top of a mountain called Loch Doon Castle. 768 metres tall, and that was pretty tough going towards the end there, just loads of up and downs. Normally the views would be really good. You could probably see Ireland in that direction and the Isle of Man, but it's just a bit too hazy today. It's a shame, but hopefully we'll get some nice views of the next one. I can see it off in the distance. It's about 100 metres taller than this one, so all that uphill should be fun. But yeah, I'm pretty tired, so gonna get a break, refuel before I head off to the next one. I always love these wee summit shelters. They just get you out of the wind. You feel like you're not out in the elements. It's nice to take a break. Although it's quite hazy today, seriously warm. Must be like, I think I said 20 degrees. It's gonna get a little bit later on, so this is definitely needed.
I got back on the move, touching all the cairns to be sure, and heading deeper into the mountains.
I do not want to mess with that guy. He is menacing. Yep. Off you walk, pal.
It was an undulating ridge. I'd find myself jogging downhill to speed it up, and then out of breath heading upwards again.
Ooh, this is really quite tough. It's just up and down, up and down. So many undulations. Oh, so nice though. Really nice to be out, and it's dry right now. Saying that, up ahead there are some really menacing looking clouds. It looks like it's going to rain. Look at that. Definitely some rain clouds. I need to make my way up this as well. Looks quite steep, but I'll be glad when I get up there. Let's go. Some sort of a cairn here. Probably a warning that you've got that up ahead. On camera that doesn't look too bad, but that is steep, man. I can't even see where you would head up because there's like all this scree. See when we get there though. The earphones are in and the music is on. Give me some motivation to get up this hill. Finding it so tough today. Don't know what it is. I haven't done any like really high elevation climbs in a while, so maybe it's that, but I'm getting rewarded. Look at the views. That's all the way back to the hill I was at earlier. You do cover quite a lot of distance pretty fast. Let's get up this hill though, see what the views are like.
The hill was incredibly steep, and the climb was tough going. I used the boulders for better grip, and clambered my way upwards.
Oh wow, can finally see the final mountain of today. That is it up there, and look at these views down to that loching. Such a cool shape, and I think I'm pretty much heading up this sort of ridge here and then up to the top. Looks pretty good.
I headed for the ridge, excited to summit the final mountain of the day. The views up on the ridge were spectacular. I could see off one side to the Loching, and the other side down into the glen. It was good to get the views I came for.
Feels absolutely amazing to be up on this ridge. I've only got about 50 metres of elevation up to the top. These views are amazing, so much better than I thought they would be. Like, that hill I just came from was so like rounded, whereas this is pretty impressive. It's really rocky, And there's some steep drops off the side. Look at that, down to that loch. That is absolutely beautiful. Excited to get up to the top, see what the views are like up there.
The final push was a steep climb up steps carved into the grass. I could now see behind me to the ridge I had just traversed. The landscape was incredible.
Oh man, I've made it to the top of Merrick, the highest mountain in the southern uplands of Scotland. You just get up here to touch it now. Oh. There we go. What a view. Those are some dark clouds back there. That's where I've come from, so that mountain all the way in the distance would have been the first tall one I did today. And I've come up and over this one and to where I am now. Really nice views. Wow, got some friends coming to congratulate me on summiting the mountain. Cheers guys, much appreciated.
I enjoyed the views, feeling lucky to be standing where I was. I couldn't believe I was the only one up here. I took a short break, feeling proud to have summited the highest mountain in the south of Scotland. These two seemed to be happy to reach the top as well. After a while, I got back on the move, as the clouds seemed to be rolling in.
I'm about 10 miles in, I think, so probably about half of what I'm going to do today. And I haven't seen anyone else yet. Like, I feel like I say it in every single video, but just, if you come to Scotland, come out to these places and you'll see literally no one. Like, I thought this would be busy. The highest mountain in the south of Scotland, and there's still no one. It's just like, unless you go to the sort of really popular spots like Ben Nevis or Ben Lomond, they're normally pretty quiet. You just get that solitude and it just feels so remote. It's amazing. And the landscapes are so impressive. So many different areas to explore. I think I've done most of the elevation for today, which is good news. I've got one coming up, but it doesn't look half as bad as the one I just did. So yeah, it feels good.
It felt like I was entering a new stage of the trail as I left the mountains behind and headed for the glen lower down. I picked up a better track, so decided to follow it. There were more signs of life down here, and a small stream made the perfect spot to cool down. I enjoyed a drink and was back on the move. There was a building amongst the trees in the distance, so I headed closer to explore.
Well, this is obviously the remains of what used to be a bothy, but definitely can't stay in there. That is horrible. Let's have a look in here. Yeah, no longer being used as a bothy, I don't think. It's a bit of a shame that it's not being used as a bothy anymore. Like, it's such a good location. It's nice and calm, peaceful. We're down at about 300 metres now. And there's a river or burn, whatever you want to call it, just over there. So yeah, that'd be ideal for collecting water, but oh well. Not a bothy anymore, so let's continue on. For those that don't know, by the way, a bothy is just what we call in Scotland basically like a house from hundreds years ago that they've sort of done up, renovated to allow people to stay in for free, and you can donate to the Mountain Bothy Association, and they're the people who sort of come to these bothies and renovate them, keep them in working order. So yeah, it's a shame that one is a bit run down, but there's plenty more out there.
I was entering Glen Trool, An important glen in Scotland's history. The views weren't too bad either.
Oh, I've seen something about this. This is called Bruce's Stone, named after Robert the Bruce. And there you go. In loyal remembrance of Robert the Bruce, King of Scots, whose victory in this glen over an English force in March 1307 opened the campaign of independence, which he brought to a decisive close at Bannockburn on the 24th of June 1314. Pretty mental. And that is the view. This glen. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, wow. Here is an even better view of the glen. That is Loch Doon down there. And look at these views. I think this must be Glen Trail then. Wow. Beautiful. I think I'm heading in this direction as well. It's about 5:45 right now. And I've still actually got a decent amount of distance to do. I think I'm about 15 miles in, so aiming to do another 5 today, which it doesn't get dark until about 9:30 this time of year, so I should have time. Seems like the weather's actually taking a turn for the better as well. Normally it gets worse in Scotland, but there's a lot more blue sky, which is ideal. Hopefully get a nice sunset.
I always love walking through forests. The environment is so peaceful and just draws you in. I'd find myself staring upwards, in awe of the beauty all around.
Forests just solve all your problems, don't they? It's literally like a sensory overload. So many sights and sounds, but they're all the best sights and sounds. It's just so peaceful. Well, it's got to be my favourite place to be, is just in a forest. Absolutely amazing. You always feel like you're breathing in the freshest air around as well. It's so nice. Absolutely love it.
I was now following one of Scotland's great trails, which meant the paths would be in good condition. The signs on the trail would stop me getting lost. I saw something on the ground, so went for a closer look. I had found a legless lizard, also known as a slowworm. It didn't seem bothered, so I thought I'd leave him to it.
See what this says here. White Lagan. That's the name of another bothy that I'm hoping to camp. Pretty close to 1.5 miles. Let's get it done. No wonder this area feels so remote. I just read a description there, and apparently it's 7 miles back that direction to Glentrail village, and then the next village in the other direction is 8 miles away. So literally nothing for miles. That is mental. Loch D looks so nice. Hoping to try and find a nice spot by the loch, as long as it's not too boggy, and I can just pitch up and enjoy the sun. Oh, I can't wait.
I found a nice spot for the tent and decided to hit the hay just in time for the rain to arrive.
What an incredibly peaceful morning. It's so still, there's not a breath of wind. Blue skies everywhere. It's just so peaceful. There was like a wave of fog that came in last night, and it's just coated everything with water. Like, literally everything is covered. My tent is soaking, and I can just see all the spiders' webs along this wee trail, just covered in rain and residue. It's pretty cool. I don't know if it's actually cool or terrifying when you see how many spiders there are. What a peaceful place though. I'm just going to enjoy this morning and then start to pack up.
With a big day ahead of me, I filled up on fresh water from the nearby stream. The air was crisp, and the creatures of the forest were awake. Unfortunately, so were the midges, who didn't seem to want me to take down my tent. I was keen to get away from them, so picked up my pack and left my camp spot behind.
Top tip for anyone planning on camping next to a stream or river in spring/summer in Scotland. Just don't. Just make sure you've gathered all your water and then camp elsewhere, because the midges and the flies and all the other insects seem to be way worse down by the river. So yeah, definitely find another spot. I've been getting savage this morning. But apart from that, the spot was brilliant. But it's just not ideal when you can't fully enjoy it. I was just hiding away in my tent. But yeah, what a morning. So beautiful, so peaceful. Blue skies. Couldn't really ask for much more. Now that is a view. That is absolutely amazing. Wow. That is Loch Doon down there. So impressive. And this huge forest is still Carrick Forest. So I'm pretty sure that's the one I started in. Obviously it's somewhere way over there that I started, but it just shows you the size of the forest. Wow. I am so grateful for these trees right now. Being in the shade makes such a difference. It's not even 9 o'clock in the morning yet, so the heat in the air isn't actually too bad. But when you're in the sun constantly, it just gets so warm. I'm going to be heading into Carrick Forest pretty soon, so hopefully that should provide some shade. Just look at this though. I mean, wow. Loch Doon behind me. Absolutely beautiful. And there's no one else up yet. I'm the only one. Love it. That's an interesting plant. Can't say I've seen many of them before.
I watched an eagle effortlessly soar through the sky. It gave me some motivation to keep going.
So basically that path there, I basically follow the tree line up to here, follow that tree line all the way along there, and then I enter the forest just there. You can probably see the path, and I think that's over to the mountains I was doing yesterday. They're probably somewhere behind here. Look pretty cool though.
I could make good progress on the forestry track. I was still following the Southern Upland Way. The track was well signposted, so getting lost wouldn't be a problem. Viewpoints like this were the perfect place to stop and take it all in. It was nice to forget about the time and truly be present in my surroundings. I felt like I was going in circles at points. The paths looked the same and stretched on for miles in the distance. I came across another bothy and was keen to explore.
This one doesn't look the nicest either. Boarded up windows, but we'll go in and have a look. Yeah. Wish me luck. This is the main room, it looks like. Sleeping platform, to be fair. Let's go in the other room, see what's in there. Oh, this is the fireplace. Yeah, not the nicest, this one. Yeah, not sure I'd want to stay in this bothy, to be honest. There's probably mice and insects and stuff everywhere. Not for me. So a beautiful location though. Absolutely beautiful. Just looking onto the mountains, and there's a stream right here that actually looks like it'd be pretty good for swimming. Look at this over here. Like, that looks really good. Take a dip in there, and then this is your view. Absolutely amazing. I think this is the mountains that I could see yesterday. I was on the ridge, just sort of over the other side looking down at them. What a location for a bothy though. So nice. It's probably just not that well renovated because it's pretty remote. Like there's literally nothing out here. We are out in the sticks. But yeah, such a cool location for a bothy. Definitely a good one to stay in if you're doing the Southern Upland Way and you don't mind sleeping with mice and rats.
I left the bothy behind and headed deeper into the forest. The place was eerily quiet, other than the sound of a few chirping birds. The forest was dense, letting in little light, which acted as the perfect shelter in the searing heat.
This glen is just absolutely incredible. I mean, look at this. Wow. And then that's back in the direction I've come from. The mountains are just so rocky. So impressive. I can hear some of the trees beside me creaking, and they're all like tilted towards the path. I do not want to get crushed by a tree. What a way to go that would be. Splat. Yeah. Try and get through this part before I get crushed. Pretty much no path now. Guessing that used to be a bridge over there. No longer a bridge. And I'm heading through this pass in between the trees. Try and get over this river first. Oh man. It's just obstacle after obstacle. This is so boggy as well. This must just never get used as a path. How am I getting over this? Right, that's obstacle 1 done. This is so boggy. It actually says that this is a path on the map that I'm using. I do not know how. I can see like the faintest little track ever, but it's just like knee-deep bog. Keep on falling in. This bit here isn't actually too bad, but back there it was so bad. So yeah, if I get swallowed up by the bog, you know where to find me. Actually, you probably don't know where to find me. I'm in the middle of nowhere.
This was by far the wildest part of the trail. It seemed like no one had used the path in years. I trudged through the knee-deep grass, trying not to get swallowed up by the bog. I could eventually see light at the end of the tunnel. I emerged out and was grateful to be back on a forestry track.
That is one of the toughest stretches of walking I think I've ever done. There was parts of that I couldn't film. I literally like fell in at one point. I was like knee deep in bog. I thought I was going to get swallowed up. I thought that was the end. But I'm off it now and I'm back on a gravel track. I've done about 13 miles I think so far today. So I'm hoping to do another sort of 7 miles. Right now I'm heading for Loch D, which is another loch here. And I think it might be the biggest loch that I'll see on this trip. And I'll see when I get there. I know there's a castle along the shore, so I'll explore that for sure. And then I might try and look to find somewhere to pitch my tent. Maybe along the shore or maybe just a little bit further on. See when we get there though, see what it's like.
I approached Loch Doon, blown away by its impressive size.
Wow, this is Loch Doon. That is incredible. It's absolutely huge. And I'm going to be following the left hand side, pretty much heading along the shore in that direction. That is so cool though. So nice. Just following along the shores of Loch Doon right now. And it's pretty busy this area. There's loads of people parked up swimming in the loch. You can see why, to be fair. It's really warm today. But I'm not too far from the castle. I'm excited to see this, see what it's like. I think it's a ruin to be honest, but still be cool to see.
Loch Doon Castle, originally built in the early 14th century on an island in the middle of the loch, survived a siege from the English in around 1335. In the 1900s, it was dismantled and reimagined at the side of the loch. The rebuilt castle was much smaller and a ruin in itself. I took a look around and decided to move on, heading uphill back into the forest. At this point it was raining and sunny. The weather didn't know what to do. I followed the track for a while and eventually found a flat spot to pitch the tent for the night. I sat for a few hours and listened to the birds singing right outside my tent. The sunset was beautiful, painting orange streaks across the sky. It was the perfect end to the day. I woke up early in the morning to find the tent surrounded by a thick layer of fog. The atmosphere was eerie, and I didn't know what would pop out further down the trail. The animals of the forest were up and awake, so I thought I'd better join them, and slowly took down the tent. I headed off into the fog, excited for another day on the trail.
Morning everyone. Although I look really tired, I actually slept quite well. It's so peaceful this morning. There's pretty much no wind, and I could just hear the birds chirping outside my tent pretty much all night. There's a thick layer of fog or mist covering the glen that I'm in right now, so the views aren't too great. But today's actually the shortest day. I've only got 7 miles left to do today, which I'm pretty happy about. My legs are feeling it. I ended up doing about 23-24 miles yesterday. So yeah, it was a pretty big day. But yeah, it feels great. So peaceful. Look at that. That's so cool. Just the outline of the trees and the mist. It's pretty creepy, but it's also really beautiful. Look at that. Wow. Is that not just like something out of a horror film? I feel like Slender Man is hiding behind one of those trees. That is so cool. It's a lot colder this morning as well, which is ideal. I was literally so warm yesterday. Apparently it got to 22 degrees Celsius, and because I was in my tent, it just amplifies that, makes it even warmer. But it's nice and cool this morning, which is ideal. Perfect for walking.
It was weird not being able to see your surroundings. Not knowing what was there was slightly unsettling. The place was so eerily quiet, the only sound being my feet hitting the stone trail.
One thing I really like about doing these long distance routes is that by the end of it, my backpack is significantly lighter than it was at the start, because I've eaten all my food and drunk most of my water. So yeah, it's ideal. Don't get me wrong, it's still heavy, and going up these hills is still pretty brutal, but you definitely feel the difference in weight. Well, I've reached the highest point of today, up at about 450 metres, and I'm pretty sure it's all downhill from here on. So that is absolutely amazing. So happy about that. Sorry if I'm not really showing you too much on this final stretch, but there's just nothing to see. Like, I'm just in the clag, there's literally nothing to see. It's still enjoyable and it's still peaceful, and there's pretty much no wind and there's no one else about, but I can't see anything really, so I'm sort of just getting it done, soldiering on.
I followed the narrow trail for the final few miles. I could now see bits of blue sky desperately trying to break through the fog. I emerged out onto a road. I was coming to the end of the trail.
Well, I've got about a mile of road walking left, and then I'm back at my start point. What an adventure it's been. It's been really good to come to a different area that I haven't really seen much of, get some miles in and see what it has to offer. This is why I love Scotland so much. The landscape is so varied. My last adventure was wildly different to this, but they're both absolutely amazing. It's been so remote as well. Probably seen about 5 people the whole time. And yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Highly recommend coming to the Galloway Forest Park. Scotland's largest forest. You've been amazing.
I found a nice bench at the end of the trail. It was the perfect place to sit and reflect on another great adventure.